My numb feet carefully stepped over the threshold into Resurrection Chapel. My body was frail and battered from 7 months of aggressive chemotherapy and radiation. Left with a multitude of side effects, my future was uncertain. I'd left my ministry as a parish rector when diagnosed with invasive lobular carcinoma, and spent the harrowing time of treatment unmoored from any Christian community. And so it was that Thursday morning in early 2016 that I arrived at St. John's, physically broken, grateful for life, hopeful, and anxious. In the months ahead, I dealt with a litany of treatment repercussions: neuropathy, swallowing difficulties, vision problems, and lymphedema. There were more surgeries, months of physical therapy, speech therapy, and cognitive therapy for the damage chemo caused to my brain. It was during this time that Bishop Rabb invited me to begin preaching and celebrating at St. John's, an almost overwhelming consideration given my state at the time. Words were difficult to retrieve and swam on the page before me. Yet I made a decision to offer myself to God, just as I was, in my uncomfortable frailty, and begin again to serve as preacher and priest. After Reverend Ann arrived, she invited me to be the administrator of Pastoral Care Ministries. Then 3 years ago, I became St. John's part-time associate rector for pastoral care. My role at St. John's has shifted and my responsibilities increased these several years. Some of you have known the personal challenges I've faced during this time, and a few of you have closely walked alongside me as I attempted to regain what I could, learn to compensate for what I'd lost, grieve what might have been, and strive to be faithful to God's call. St. John's has been a place of healing for me. I was accepted, learned to accept myself, and reach toward who I could become after the trauma of cancer. What a gift you have been to me. I am so very grateful for our time together. Knowing and accepting ourselves for who we are is a basic need that every person has. As we accept ourselves, we become more confident in our environment. Being an authentic self reduces anxiety and allows us to function from a healthy, grounded place. At the same time, we always know we can be more. In our better days, we lean towards our potential selves. We see personal growth as opportunity. This attitude creates an openness to feedback from others, yielding information that further moves us towards our potential. The needs of the self play out in each group to which we belong. Joining a new group like a congregation, we bring our current levels of self-acceptance and potential with us, and that affects how we interact with others in the group. Groups that are bonded in a meaningful way offer a place to be known, respected, and valued, a place to contribute and discover. That's why it's essential that congregations are open, welcoming, and inclusive. That enables all people to embrace who they are and settle into community with less anxiety. It also allows the individual to fully offer themselves to God and become more and more the person that God is calling them to be. Bonded members who join together to pursue a common purpose feel connected. For Christians, this is koinonia, the spirit of community that flows from the love of Jesus Christ. The College for Congregational Development uses the group needs model to describe interrelated processes within a congregation. You'll find it in your bulletin. On the left, it depicts the needs of the self for acceptance and potential. When those needs are met, we feel energized. At the top, the needs for the group are for bonding and purpose, creating connection. There are also two needs associated with the larger context or the world the group is in. Those needs are to understand reality of the larger context and to make an impact on it. People who fathom the actual reality of the world around them and have an impact on it feel hope. When people are energized, connected, and hopeful, positive change happens. The developers of the group needs model, Bellman and Ryan, emphasize that the most significant transformation happens within the individual. When those basic needs are met, groups and the world do experience change, but the most profound impact is on the individual person. People's lives are transformed. In our gospel today, we hear of division and the need to read the signs all around us. The context of the world that Jesus, his disciples, and the larger crowds are in is one of uncertainty, hostility, and hopelessness. Jesus, the Savior, has come to bring hope and to reconnect sinful, hurting community to the love of God. He does this by his self-sacrifice on the cross. And now a time of decision is at hand. Jesus sets his face to Jerusalem. He is on his way to the crucifixion, clearly understanding that his reconciling work will only be complete with his death. He decides he is ready to fulfill this mission. The people now need to decide whether or not to follow Jesus. Those who reject him will be at odds with those who accept him. Severe divisions will occur between those who choose to pursue the ways of the world and those who choose God's way of love. Like those who first heard Jesus' words, we too are at a crossroads. Hostility, hateful rhetoric, and division sully our world. And for 29 months, we have lived with a plague called COVID, creating great uncertainty. St. John's Ellicott City and every church from coast to coast is unclear about the future. People have died. Some have drifted away from church. Others have moved away. Some are connecting more via live stream. As we endeavor to understand and accept our current reality, we all wonder, who is still attending church? Will there be enough people, enough money, enough leadership or fellowship? My friends, these are natural questions born out of trauma and anxiety. And while it is tempting to, in our weariness, wait for things to somehow shake out, now is the time for you to decide. Your decisions now will both demonstrate your commitment to Jesus Christ and affect the well-being of this parish. Will you decide now to worship and attend worship regularly? Will you notice the voids in ministry leadership and offer yourself for service? Will you put aside rancor and divisiveness that also plagues this country and seek reconciliation and peace? And recognizing the realities of our society and all that COVID has affected, how now will you impact the world through the ministry of this parish? While so much around us seems uncertain, what is doubtless is that you have the power to influence how this parish will meet the months and years to come. You have the ability to create a welcoming place where everyone is accepted, respected, and can contribute to creating positive change, the kind of transformation that will change you and change the world. As I leave St. John's and go to serve the people of Christ Church in Binghamton, New York, I want to say thank you again for my time among you, and for the things done or left undone, for my many follies and mistakes. I ask your forgiveness, and I offer you mine. God has surely blessed us in unexpected and profound ways. Know that I love you, and you will remain in my heart. So now this day, with the strength born of healing among you, and with clarity of purpose, I depart from you energized, with a heart full of gratitude, a spirit full of hope, ever connected to you through the love of Jesus Christ.